Hello, this is John Locke, and today we're discussing a rather important question that I saw in an SEO forum, and this one goes, why does it affect your rankings when you change the structure or the design of your site? Great question. Let's look at each of these components one at a time. First, we're going to start with structure. So when this person was asking this question, why does it change the rankings when you change the structure of your site, what he was talking about, or they were talking about, was the URL structure. So let's say that you have a bunch of URLs on your site that you're going to change and make it more organized. Well, what happens is Google is still going to try and crawl the old URLs that are on your site. Those can result in what's called a 404. A file not found, page not found. But more importantly, what's going to happen is any links that you have built from other sites or other sites that are linking to you to that page, when you change URL, it also results in a 404. And what happens normally, we've talked about why links are important, links from other sites. They pass what's known as PageRank or link equity. They're basically a voting power that tells Google that this page over here is important. And the more links that you generate from different unique domain names to your website, generally speaking, if all other things are equal, the higher you're going to rank versus somebody else. So when you change the URL structure of a site, what's happening is you might be destroying any of these links. They might just go into emptiness. They might hit a page not found. So when you do a site migration or you change the design of a site, then what happens is those no longer pass link equity. They no longer pass PageRank. So that's one way that changing the structure of the site can affect your rankings. You lose all the link power. Let's talk about design. This is a kind of a one that's a little bit more subtle. And what happens a lot of time is when people redesign a site, what they will do is, as one person in this thread mentioned, they're going to go for a look that's more clean. And they're going to get rid of text. And for whatever reason, a lot of people have it in their head like, people don't read text. They don't want that, and I think a lot of times it's people who are more design centric, or they're thinking about their own personal preference. But the fact of the matter is, if your page is ranking and you cut out like 50% of the text, and all that text was mentioning the things that you're trying to rank for, then you're going to have a problem when it comes to launching that new page or that new version of that site. If you're doing a redesign, changing the layout of your page or your site, I would be very careful about cutting out a whole bunch of content that is on ranking pages. In fact, I would leave a lot of it alone. If you want to change the way that it's laid out, or if you want to change the design of the page, that is great. But I would be very cautious about eliminating text on pages that are ranking, or key pages on your site that might be telling Google that this is what your site is about. So that's a number one mistake that I see made. And another thing that I think is a misstep a lot of times is, and we've talked about this one before too, this is no secret, but design agencies, they value design. If a design or a branding or a visual identity place is doing your website, and they're thinking that they will add in SEO at the end, or they will hand you off to an SEO person at the end, or they'll refer you to an SEO agency at the end, they're working from a broken mindset, because like we've talked about, everything that is on your website, the words and the visuals and the layouts and the elements that are in the page, the design, all this stuff is part of SEO too. It's not just changing words around. It's not just getting a couple links here and there or getting reviews. All those things are a part of it too. But definitely the design is also part of the website. So when you whole scale change the design of a website, what happens is Google reevaluates that site from the get all over again. They're going to reevaluate the entire website. So if you change the design of a site, then you're triggering Google to reevaluate the quality of your site and what is on there. One thing that I think a lot of design agencies should do, but don't do, is actually get with the SEO consultant before they start designing the page. As someone who did a lot of subcontracting for design-centric agencies, I can tell you exactly how the design process goes in most agencies. They will consult with the client, ask them what they want, what sites they like the look of, but ultimately what's going to happen is a lot of designers are going to look for inspiration on sites like Dribbble or Behance or CSS Design Awards or the site of the day, all the things that have innovative design and they have, like, you know, things zooming in and out and, ooh, that's cool, that's neat, that's pretty, I like that. But what they're not going to do in 99% of the cases is they're not going to look at what's actually ranking above you and take ideas from, maybe these things need to be on the page. When we design this page, it has to have these things on there. These things need to be present because there's a pattern and Google sees certain things. If it's an informational page and it has like tables or it has certain images or videos or things like that, and this is what I'm talking about, these things need to be in place for you to rank if that's the established pattern. So SEO is not a condiment that you sprinkle on at the end. It's not sprinkles that you put on the sundae at the end. It is something that has to be built into the process from the start. But most design agencies only value design. They think SEO is snake oil. They think marketing is snake oil for the most part, unless they're doing it. And they really don't want to share the money with anybody else. So they are really hesitant to bring in an SEO consultant at the beginning and get a report on what could actually make their client site rank better, because that's the goal, right? Not to win a design award, right? We want to bring more business in the door. We want to make our clients more successful and have them earn more money. And design awards are, you know, whatever, like a way far down the chain of things that I care about, or you should care about. It's all about making sure that your clients are successful, and that's more money, more rankings, more money. That's pretty much the bottom line. So yes, anytime that you redesign your site or change the site structure in a large way, Google is going to reevaluate it. The structure part is basically you're going to eliminate links that are passing page equity or page rank to your site. That's where you get hurt. Where you do a redesign, it can actually help your site in a lot of cases. If most of the sites in your space are not very beautiful, and you design a site that is more aesthetically pleasing and it has all the elements that are necessary on each page for you to rank by the Google established pattern, which we do in an SEO audit, then you're going to be in good shape. But if you ignore all that and just try and make something that appeals to other designers, or your design agency is making things that appeal to other designers, you might be in for a rough time, or you might see no growth. It might just be flat. Don't eliminate a bunch of text on a page that's already ranking. Find a way to integrate it into the new design. Don't change those elements all at once, because words matter. All right, that's all I got for this video. John Locke, Lockdown Design and SEO. We're here publishing videos every day. I would love to see you subscribe. Till next time, peace.